My sister sold my son for $40,000, and my mother helped her sign the papers. My name is Ava Mitchell. I'm 34 years old, and until the day I walked into that courtroom, I believed blood meant family would never betray you. I was wrong. If you enjoy emotional family drama stories filled with betrayal, shocking twists, revenge, and unforgettable endings, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Now let me tell you what really happened: the signature. The courtroom smelled like old paper and lemon cleaner. I sat on the wooden bench with my hands in my lap, trying to keep them from shaking. My son Noah was 4 years old. He was drawing dinosaurs on a coloring sheet next to me, tongue sticking out in concentration. He had no idea. My sister Madison stood at the front with her husband. They wore matching navy suits. They looked like the kind of people judges trusted. Madison was 31, the baby of the family, the one mom always called my miracle girl, the one who got the wedding Dad paid for, the car he co-signed, the down payment on the house. I got, "You're so responsible. Ava, you'll figure it out." The judge called our case. Matter of guardianship transfer, Mitchell, Noah. My stomach dropped. Guardianship transfer? Not adoption, transfer. Like I was handing him off at a bus station. Mom sat in the back row. She wouldn't look at me. She just kept smoothing her skirt like it had wrinkles. Madison's lawyer started talking about a better life and financial stability and the child's best interest. I stood up. "Your Honor, I didn't agree to this," I said. My voice cracked. "I signed papers for temporary guardianship while I was in the hospital. After my accident, I was on pain meds. I thought it was for 6 months. Just while I recovered." The judge looked over his glasses at me. "Mrs. Mitchell, did you sign the document?" "Yes, but..." "Then you transferred guardianship. The law is clear." He tapped his gavel once. Not hard, just enough to make Noah look up. Noah looked at me. "Mommy, why are we here?" I couldn't answer. Madison turned around then. She didn't smile. She didn't apologize. She just met my eyes and said, "He's better off with us, Ava. You know that. You can't even afford his daycare." Her husband nodded like she'd said something noble. Mom finally looked at me. Her eyes were wet, but not with tears for me. "Sometimes love means letting go, sweetheart," she whispered. "Madison and James can give him everything. Everything except his mother." The judge signed the order. The sound of the pen was louder than the gavel. Madison came over after. She put her hand on my shoulder. "You'll still see him," she said. "We're family, just supervised visits. For his stability, supervised." Like I was dangerous. I watched her take Noah's hand. He looked back at me, confused. "Mommy, come?" Madison squeezed his hand. "She can't, baby. She has to go now." As they walked out, Mom caught up to me in the hallway. She pressed something into my palm. Folded paper. Warm from her hand. "Don't open this here," she said. "But you deserve to know why we did it." Then she walked away, heels clicking on the marble floor, following my son and my sister. I stood there alone with a piece of paper and a courtroom full of people who thought I'd given my child away. I unfolded the paper in the parking lot. It was a bank transfer receipt. Dated 3 weeks ago. $40,000. From Madison and James Mitchell. To my mother. Memo line. For Noah's future. My hand started shaking again. But this time not from grief, from rage. The price they put on him. I didn't go home after the courthouse. I sat in my car in the parking lot for an hour with that receipt in my hand. $40,000, Mom's account. Madison's memo. For Noah's future, my son. 4 years old. Drawing dinosaurs. And they'd put a price on him like he was a used car. I called Madison first. It went to voicemail. I called Mom. She answered on the second ring, voice sweet, careful. "Ava? Honey, are you okay?" "Don't honey me," I said. "I have the receipt." 40,000, explain it. There was a pause. Then a sigh. The kind she used when I was 12 and asked why I couldn't have the expensive sneakers. "It's not what you think," she said. "Then what is it?" "Because it looks like you sold my son." "We didn't sell him, Ava. We invested in his future. Madison and James wanted to make sure you'd be taken care of while you got back on your feet. After the accident, after the medical bills, I asked for help with hospital bills. I cut in. I didn't ask you to sign my child away. You were in pain, sweetheart. You were overwhelmed. You said you couldn't do it alone. We were trying to protect him from me. I hung up before I said something I couldn't take back. That night, I went to Madison's house. The house Dad's money bought. Big porch, white fence, Noah's little bike on the lawn. Madison opened the door before I knocked. Like she'd been watching for me. "You can't come in," she said immediately. "Supervised visits only, remember?" Judge's orders. "I signed those papers in the hospital, Madison. I was on morphine." "I didn't understand. You understood enough to sign," she said. Her voice was flat. No sister in it. Just strategy, and Mom needed the money. Her mortgage was behind. We helped her. "You should be grateful." "Grateful?" I laughed, and it sounded broken. "You paid my mother to take my son. We gave Noah stability," Madison said. "You're a waitress, Ava. You work doubles. You don't have insurance. What kind of life is that for him?" "My life," I said. "His life. Our life." She crossed her arms. "You're being emotional. That's why the judge ruled the way he did. You can't make decisions like this when you're emotional. That was their favorite word for me now. Behind her, I heard Noah's voice. "Aunt Maddie, is that Mommy?" Madison's face changed, softer, fake sweet. "No, baby. That's just a friend. Go finish your cartoon." A friend. I stepped back off the porch. My chest felt like someone was sitting on it. "One thing," I said. "Did Dad know? Before he died last year?" Madison's eyes flicked away for half a second. Too fast. "Dad wanted what was best for all of us," she said. "Now you need to leave before I call the police." I left, but I didn't go home. I drove to the hospital where I'd signed the papers. 3 months ago, after the car accident that put me in bed for 6 weeks. The nurse at Records, Linda, remembered me. She'd brought me extra pudding cups when I was too sore to reach. "You're looking better, Ava," she said. "I need my admission paperwork," I said. "The guardianship forms I signed," she frowned. "Those are legal documents. I can't just—" "Please, Linda, I was drugged. I don't remember signing anything about permanent guardianship. Just temporary care," she hesitated. Then she disappeared into the back. Came back 5 minutes later with a thin file. She set it on the counter and opened it. My signature was on page 3, big, shaky, looping across the line. But underneath it, in smaller print, was another signature. Witness, my mother's, dated the same day. Same time, except I remembered that day clearly. Mom didn't arrive until 4 a.m. The nurse had brought me a get-well card from Noah at 3. This was signed at 2:30 p.m. My hands started shaking again. "Who witnessed this?" I asked. "Mrs. Elaine Mitchell," Linda said. "Your mother. She was here early, said you were asking for her. I wasn't. I was alone." Hooked to an IV, barely conscious. Someone had forged it. Or Mom had come early and lied. Either way, the temporary papers I thought I signed weren't temporary at all. I looked at Linda. "Can you make me a copy?" "I'm not supposed to—" "My son is gone, Linda, please." She made the copy. Slid it across the counter. As I folded it into my purse, my phone buzzed. Unknown number. Text message. One line. "Stop digging. Ava, some truths will break you more than losing him." I looked up at the hospital entrance. A black SUV was parked across the street. Engine running. The window rolled down halfway. I couldn't see the driver. But I knew who sent that text. The birthday party. Didn't sleep that night. I sat at my kitchen table with the hospital. Copy spread out under the lamp. My signature shaky and wrong. Mom's signature too neat, too early. "Stop digging, Ava. Some truths will break you more than losing him." I traced the word truths with my finger until the ink smeared. The next day was Noah's 5th birthday. Madison had sent me a text a week ago. Supervised visit. 2:04 p.m., our house. We're doing cake and a few friends. A few friends. Not me, alone with my son. Not his mother, a guest. I showed up 10 minutes early. I wore the dress Noah picked out last Christmas. Blue with little stars. He said it made me look like a princess. Madison opened the door with a smile that didn't reach her eyes. "You're on time," she said. "Good, Judge likes punctuality. Where is he?" "Inside, he's excited. We're doing a dinosaur theme. He loves that you always let him roar." I stepped inside. Balloons, streamers, a table with a cake shaped like a T-Rex. Kids running around. Parents I didn't know, talking about preschools and swim lessons. And Noah, he saw me and his face lit up. He ran full speed and crashed into my legs. "Mommy, you came!" He threw his arms around me. He smelled like crayons and the strawberry shampoo I used to buy him. Knelt down and hugged him so hard I thought I might break. "Happy birthday, baby." I missed you so much. He pulled back, grinning, missing a front tooth. Aunt Maddie said you were just a friend now, but you're my mommy, right? Madison was right behind him. Noah, we talked about this. Ms. Ava is visiting today because she cares about you, Ms. Ava. The words hit like a slap. Noah's smile faltered. He looked between us, confused. But you're my mommy. You read me stories. Madison knelt too, voice syrupy sweet. I read you stories now, sweetie. Ms. Ava used to when you were little. But grown-ups have to share sometimes. He looked at me. I couldn't speak. My throat was closed. Cake time! Madison clapped her hands and stood, breaking the moment. Everyone to the table! The parents sang. Noah blew out 5 candles. Madison and her husband James stood on either side of him, hands on his shoulders like they'd always been there. Someone handed me a paper plate. You must be Noah's friend, a mom said. He talks about you a lot. I forced a smile. Yeah, we're close. After cake, Madison pulled me into the kitchen. She shut the door. Don't confuse him, she said, low and sharp. He's adjusting. If you keep calling yourself his mommy, it's going to make this harder for everyone. He is my son, I said. Legally, he isn't right now, she said. And emotionally, he needs stability. You showing up crying and calling him baby isn't stability. Ava, it's chaos. Chaos. Emotional. There it was again. I heard Noah's voice from the living room. Mommy, can you help me open this? Madison flinched. Then she walked out and answered, I'll help you. Sweetie, just like that, she took my name. I stood in the kitchen, plate in my hand, and felt humiliated down to my bones. When the party ended, Madison walked me to the door. Supervised visits are every other Saturday, she said. Don't be late. And Ava, try to remember your place, my place. I got to my car and finally cried. Not quiet tears. The ugly kind. The kind that make you gasp for air. My phone buzzed. Unknown number again. This time it wasn't a warning. It was a photo. Me, age 9, in a hospital bed. IV in my arm. Mom sitting beside me, holding my hand. On the back of the photo, scanned and attached, was handwriting I recognized. Dad's. If anything happens to me, she's the match. Keep her close. The match for what? Another text came right after. Ask your mother about the bone marrow. Ava, ask her why Madison never got sick. I stared at the screen until it went dark. Then I looked up at Madison's house. The curtains in the upstairs window moved. Someone was watching me. The night I screamed, I didn't go home after the party. I drove straight to Mom's house. The little blue one Dad left her on Maple Street. The one with the porch swing he built himself. Her lights were on. She was watching her shows. She always watched them with the sound up. Like if she made enough noise, the silence wouldn't catch her. I didn't knock. Mom, I said from the doorway. Bone marrow. What does she's the match mean? She didn't jump. Didn't act surprised. She just paused her show and set the remote down slow, like she'd been waiting for me to say it. Sit down, Ava, she said. I'm not sitting. My voice was shaking. Madison never got sick, not once. I had pneumonia 3 times before I was 10. Asthma attacks, surgeries, but Madison? Perfect health. Why? Mom looked at me for a long time. Then she stood and went to the hall closet. Pooh pulled out a shoebox I recognized. She set it on the coffee table and opened it. Inside weren't just photos. There were medical files. Hospital bands. A faded donor card. She picked up the donor card. Dad's name on it. He registered as a donor when you were born, Ava, she said softly. After you got sick. The doctor said you needed a bone marrow transplant. You were his only match in the family. I sat down then. My legs wouldn't hold me. He got tested, she went on. He was a match. But the transplant was expensive. Insurance wouldn't cover all of it. And Madison, she was only 2. He said he couldn't risk both his girls at once. So he waited. He kept you close. He made sure you stayed healthy enough. Stayed healthy enough for what? I whispered. For him, she said. And finally her eyes filled with tears. When he got diagnosed at 52, leukemia, he needed a donor. You were the only match. Madison wasn't. We didn't know that until we tested her. The room tilted. Dad died of leukemia last year. You let him use me, I said. The words came out flat. Dead. All those years. All those Ava's so strong speeches. You weren't proud of me. You were keeping me alive for him. We loved you, she said, reaching for my hand. I pulled away. Did you love me? Or did you love that I could save him? Both, her eyes said. But her mouth said, we did what parents do. We protected the family. The family? Meaning Madison. Meaning the miracle girl? Meaning not me. I stood up. The shoebox tipped. Papers slid across the floor. One of them was a consent form, dated 2 months before Dad died. Consent for directed donation, donor Ava Mitchell. Recipient, James Mitchell. James, Madison's husband. Not Dad. My hands went cold. James has leukemia too? I asked. No, Mom said quickly. Too quickly. He had a condition. When Madison got pregnant with Noah, the doctor said the baby might inherit it. They said Ava's cells would be a perfect match for early intervention. For the baby, after he was born, the world went silent. Noah. They didn't take my son because I was a bad mother. They took him because his cells were valuable. You sold him for his bone marrow, I said. It wasn't a question. Mom started crying then. Real tears. We didn't know it would come to this. Madison and James were desperate. The doctors said it could save him. Save their family and you. You were struggling. We thought it was better for everyone. Don't you dare say my name again, I said. I walked out. I drove until I couldn't see straight. Pulled over on the side of the highway and screamed. No words, just sound. Raw and animal and tearing out of my chest. Because for 34 years I'd been the spare part. The backup plan. The strong one they kept healthy in case someone else broke. I wasn't a daughter. I was a storage unit. When I could breathe again, I looked at my phone. Madison had called 6 times. The last voicemail was her voice, but not the courtroom voice. Not the sweet aunt voice. Panic. Ava, pick up. Noah's running a fever. 104. The doctors want to test him. They're asking about family history. About donors. If they find out, Ava, please call me back. We need you. We need you. Not I miss you. Not I'm sorry. We need your son's cells. I deleted the message. Then I opened my contacts and found a name I hadn't called in 10 years. My aunt, Dad's sister. The one Mom said was crazy and cut off after Dad died. The one who always told me, your mother lies when it's convenient. Ava, never forget that. I hit call. It rang once. Then a woman's voice answered, sharp and awake like she'd been waiting too. Ava Mitchell. I wondered when you'd figure it out. Who is this? I asked, but my voice already knew. Aunt Claire, she said. Your father's sister. The one your mother told you was unstable. She laughed. But it wasn't had humor in it. I'm not unstable. Ava, I'm just the only one. Who said no. I pulled off the highway and parked under a streetlight. My hands were still shaking from screaming. What do you know? I said. I know why your mother cut me off after your dad died, Claire said. I found the real adoption papers, Ava. Not Madison's guardianship. Yours. The world went quiet except for my heartbeat. What? Your parents couldn't have kids for 6 years, she said. The doctors told them it was impossible. Then suddenly, miracle, Elaine was pregnant. With you, she paused. I gripped the steering wheel until my knuckles went white. That's a lie. Is it? Claire asked. Then explain why you're the only one with O-negative blood. Your dad was A-positive. Your mom is B-positive. O-negative doesn't just show up. Ava, it's from your real mother. She was right. I'd donated blood in college, O-negative, universal donor. The nurse had said, wow, you're rare. And there's more, Claire went on. Madison is their biological daughter. The miracle after 6 years. But you were the backup plan before they even knew they needed one. Your dad picked you specifically. Because your birth mother's medical records showed rare cell compatibility. He was already sick then. Early stage. He knew he'd need a donor someday. I couldn't breathe. He adopted a child to save his own life, I whispered. And when he got too sick to wait, he made your mom promise to keep you healthy, close, useful, Claire said. Then he died before he could use you. So they found the next best thing. Your son, Noah, has the same rare markers, even stronger than yours. The phone slipped from my ear. I caught it against my chest. All those years, all those times I got sick and Mom held my hair back while I threw up. All those times Dad said, that's my strong girl. Not love, maintenance. Why are you telling me this now? I asked. Because Madison called me yesterday, Claire said. She's scared, Ava. Noah's fever isn't going down. The doctors want a bone marrow match. James's condition is worse than they told you. If Noah isn't a match, they'll lose him. And if he is a match, they'll take his marrow. A 5-year-old? My stomach turned. They're going to ask you to consent, Claire said. And if you say no, they'll tell the court you're unfit, that you abandoned him, that you're emotional. How do I stop it? You can't stop them from taking his marrow if a judge orders it, she said. But you can stop them from keeping him. The original adoption papers? They're not legal. Your dad paid a lawyer under the table. No court record. If you fight it, the whole thing falls apart. You, me, Madison, none of us are legally Mitchells. None of us are legally Mitchells. My name wasn't even mine. Where are the papers? I asked. In a safety deposit box, Claire said. Box 118, First National Bank downtown. Key's been in your dad's old Bible this whole time. Your mom just doesn't know I made a copy 10 years ago. I closed my eyes. Why help me now? Because I watched them do this to you your whole life, she said. And I'm done watching. You deserve to know the truth before they take anything else from you. We hung up. I sat in my car with the phone in my lap and stared at nothing. I wasn't Ava Mitchell. I wasn't the daughter. I wasn't even strong. I was a medical match they picked out of a file. My phone buzzed. Mom, I answered. Ava, thank God, she said, crying. Noah's in the hospital. His fever won't break. The doctors need a donor, please, for your son. You have to come. You have to sign. I looked at the safety deposit key on my keychain. The one Dad gave me when I turned 18 and said, For emergencies, sweetheart. Where is he? I asked. My voice was calm. Too calm, County General. Room 312, she said. Please hurry. Madison's falling apart. I hung up. Then I started the car, not toward the hospital, toward First National Bank. Because before I decided whether to save Noah's life, I needed to know whose life I was actually living. And as I pulled onto the road, headlights flashed behind me. Same black SUV from the hospital. They weren't letting me go alone. I didn't drive to the bank. Not right away. I drove in circles for 20 minutes with that black SUV following, waiting to see if they'd blink first. They didn't. So I pulled into a 24-hour diner off I-70, parked under the brightest light, and walked inside. If they wanted me, they'd have to come in after me. The waitress knew me. I'd worked the breakfast shift here for 2 years before the accident. Ava? You look rough, honey, she said, sliding coffee in front of me. You okay? No, I said. Then, actually, I'm done being not okay. My phone buzzed. Mom again. Then Madison. Then James. I ignored all of them. I pulled the key out of my pocket. Small, brass, worn, smooth from years in Dad's drawer. Box 118, First National Bank. Aunt Claire's words echoed. You deserve to know the truth before they take anything else from you. For 34 years, I've been reactive, crying, begging, explaining, trying to prove I was a good mom, a good daughter, a good person. Tonight I stopped explaining. I stood up, left the coffee untouched, and walked out. The SUV followed. The bank was closed, but the night deposit slot glowed. I didn't use it. I walked around back to the alley where the manager's entrance was. There was a man waiting there, not in a suit. Jeans, jacket, tired eyes. You must be Ava, he said. Claire called me. I'm the night manager. She said you'd need access. You're breaking the law, I said. I'm opening a safety deposit box for the legal heir, he said. Claire sent me your birth certificate. The real one. With your birth mother's name. He swiped a card. The door clicked. Inside the vault, he pulled out box 118, set it on the steel table. My hands didn't shake when I put the key in. The lid opened with a soft sigh. Inside, a manila envelope. A photo of a woman I'd never seen. Dark hair, my eyes. A birth certificate. And a letter handwritten dated the day I was born. To whoever finds this, my name is Lena Torres. I was 16. They paid me $5,000 and promised me my baby would have a good life. They said the father was sick and needed a donor. I didn't know they meant forever. If you're reading this, I'm sorry. And I'm proud of you for surviving them. I read it 3 times. Each time it hit harder. I wasn't just adopted. I was selected. I folded the letter and put it in my jacket. Then I took out my phone and dialed a number I'd memorized but never used. Family law attorney, the one who handled my divorce 2 years ago. She owed me a favor. Ms. Torres, I said when she answered. I need you to file an emergency motion at 8 a.m. Custody, reversal, fraud, medical coercion. I have evidence, Ava, it's 2 a.m. Are you? I'm not asking, I said. My voice was steady, cold. I'm telling you, my son was taken under false pretenses. My guardianship signature was witnessed before my mother arrived. My adoption was never finalized. And they planned to use his bone marrow without my consent. There was silence. Then send me what you have. I'll be at the courthouse when it opens. I hung up. The manager watched me. You okay? No, I said again. But this time I meant something different. I'm not okay, but I'm not broken anymore. For years I thought strength meant enduring. Taking it, smiling through it. Being the daughter they needed me to be. Strength wasn't endurance. Strength was walking away from the table they set without you. I walked out of the bank. The SUV was still there, idling across the street. I got in my car and drove straight to the hospital. Madison met me in the hallway outside Noah's room. Her eyes were red. Her hair a mess. No more Navy suit, just fear. He's asking for you, she said. The fever's worse. They want to test him tonight. Then test him, I said. But you don't touch him. You don't sign anything. And you don't call me Ms. Ava ever again, Ava, please? We were scared. James is sick. You thought my son belonged to you because you paid my mother, I said. You were wrong. Pushed past her and opened the door to room 312. Noah looked small, in the hospital bed. Tubes in his arm. Face flushed. But when he saw me, he smiled. That gap-toothed, dinosaur-loving smile. Mommy, he whispered. You came back. I sat on the edge of his bed and took his hand. It was hot, too hot. I'm here, baby, I said. And I'm not leaving. Not ever again. Behind me, Madison started crying. Soft, ugly sobs. I didn't turn around. For the first time in my life, I wasn't trying to fix her pain. I was protecting my son from it. And as the nurse came in with paperwork for a donor test, I held up my hand. Stop, I said. Before you do anything to my child, you're going to hear what his mother has to say. Ma'am, I need you to step back so we can draw blood, the nurse said, holding up a vial and a needle. No, I said. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't have to. You don't touch my son until I speak. Noah squeezed my hand. His skin was burning up. Mommy, it hurts. I know, baby. I'm not letting anyone hurt you anymore, I said. I looked at the nurse. Get the attending physician, now. Madison was still crying in the hallway. James stood behind her, arms crossed, jaw tight. He looked at me like I was the problem. Don't do this, Ava, he said. If we don't test him, we won, to know if he can help me. I could die. You should have thought of that before you paid my mother for my child, I said. The doctor came in 5 minutes later. Older guy, gray hair, glasses on a chain. He glanced at the chart, then at me, then at Noah. Mrs. Mitchell, your son's fever is 104.8. We need to run tests. If he's a match for Mr. Mitchell, a bone marrow procedure could stop, I said. Dr. Harland, you delivered Noah, didn't you? He blinked. Yes. I was on call that night. 4 years ago. Then you remember what I told you when I was in labor, I said. If anything happens to me, nobody touches my baby's medical records without my written consent. Nobody. He shifted his weight. I remember good, I said. Then you also remember I refused the newborn. Genetic screening they wanted to do for research. I signed a waiver. My son's DNA is not hospital. Property, Dr. Harland. Looked at James, then at Madison, then back at me. Is there something I should know about this case? He asked carefully. Yes, I said. I pulled the hospital copy from my purse. The one with Mom's signature dated before she arrived. I signed guardianship papers while under morphine. My mother forged her witness signature. And these people paid her $40,000 to take my son. Madison gasped. It's fraud, Madison, I said. And if you draw 1 drop of blood from Noah without a court order, I'll have you arrested for assault on a minor. The room went silent. Only the beep of Noah's monitor filled it. Dr. Harlan took the papers from me. Read them. His face changed. I can't proceed without parental consent, he said finally. And you're the mother listed on his birth certificate. He looked at James. Mr. Mitchell, I'm sorry. We can treat your condition with other protocols. We cannot use the child without legal authorization. James stepped forward. He's my nephew. He's family. He's not your nephew, I said. And he's not your donor. He's my son. Noah burrowed into my chest. Don't let them take me. Mommy, never, I whispered into his hair. Just then, the door opened again. Aunt Claire walked in. She didn't knock. She never did. She was wearing the same leather jacket she wore to Dad's funeral. "The one Mom told me to burn, evening family," she said. Her eyes landed on Madison. "Still playing Miracle Girl, I see. Claire, you're not supposed to be here," Mom said from the doorway. She'd followed Claire in. Face pale, lips pressed thin. "Neither are you, Elaine," Claire said. "Not after what you did." She turned to Dr. Harland and handed him a folder. "Emergency injunction. Filed at 7:58 a.m. Judge Morrison signed it. Ava Mitchell is sole legal guardian of Noah Mitchell. All previous guardianship transfers are null due to fraudulent signatures and coercion." Dr. Harland opened it. Stamped, signed, real. Mom looked at me like I'd slapped her. "You went behind our backs?" "You went behind mine first," I said. "For 34 years. Claire came to the bed and touched Noah's forehead with the back of her hand. "He's got your stubbornness, Ava, and your mother's eyes." "The real one," Noah peeked at her. "Are you my grandma?" Claire smiled, first real smile I'd seen from her in years. "I'm your great aunt. And I'm the one who's going to teach you how to roar like a T-Rex, Mom." Stepped forward. "Elaine, please. We did it for the family. For James, for Noah's future." "His future is with me," I said. "Not in your bank account." The doctor cleared his throat. "Mrs. Mitchell, I'll need you to sign new consent forms for Noah's treatment. Fever management only. No genetic tests. No marrow procedures." I signed. My signature was steady this time. Not shaky. Not drugged. Mine. As the nurse started an IV, Madison collapsed into a chair and put her head in her hands. James stared at the floor. Claire leaned close to me and said quietly, "There's one more thing in that box. Ava, something your dad left for you. Not for Madison, for you. You'll want to see it when Noah's stable." "What is it?" "Proof," she said, "that you were always his daughter. Even if he forgot, Noah's fever started to drop with the medicine." He fell asleep holding my finger. I looked at Madison. At Mom. At the family who'd priced me, used me, erased me. And for the first time, I didn't feel grief. I felt power. Noah was stable by morning. Fever down. Breathing easy. He fell asleep holding my jacket sleeve like I might disappear if he let go. I didn't sleep. I sat in that hospital chair and watched the door. At 9 a.m., Dr. Harland came in. "You can take him home, Ava. He just needs rest and fluids. But you need to follow up with his pediatrician." "My pediatrician," I said. "Not theirs." "Of course," he said. "And I'm filing a report about the attempted marrow draw without consent. It's procedure when a patient's rights are violated." Madison heard it from the hallway. She burst in. "You can't do that. You'll ruin us." "I already ruined you," I said. "When you decided my son was your insurance policy, I signed Noah out. Held him the whole way to the car. He was light. Too light. 4 years old and he'd lost weight in 3 weeks. Claire drove us to my apartment. Small, 1 bedroom. But it was mine. No white fence. No navy suits. Just my couch, my dishes, the dinosaur sheets Noah picked out. He curled up on the couch and fell asleep in 10 minutes. Claire set the manila envelope from the bank on my table. "Your dad's letter. Read it when you're ready." I wasn't ready, because at noon there was a knock on my door. Mom, Madison, James, all 3, standing on my welcome mat like they still owned it. "You can't keep him from us," Madison said before I even opened the door all the way. "He's family." "Come in," I said. My voice was flat. "Let's talk about family." They sat on my couch. I didn't offer coffee. Noah slept in my bedroom with the door cracked. Mom started crying immediately. "Ava, we were desperate. James's condition is genetic. The doctor said if Noah inherited it, he'd need treatment as a child. We thought if we took him early." "You thought wrong," I said. "You thought my son belonged to you because you wrote a check. We didn't pay for him," James said. "We paid for your mother's mortgage. It was a loan. A loan with my son as collateral," I said. "That's trafficking, James. Look it up." Madison slammed her hands on her knees. "So what now? You're gonna send us to jail? Take everything? Dad's company? The house? Is that what you want?" "I don't want your company," I said. "I don't want your house. I want what you took from me. 3 weeks with my son thinking I abandoned him. The right to be called mommy without you correcting him. The years I spent thinking I was loved instead of stored." Mom reached for my hand. I moved it. "You were always loved," she whispered. "No," I said. "I was always needed." "There's a difference." The room went quiet. only Noah's soft breathing from the bedroom. Then Claire stood up. She'd been leaning against the wall, silent until now. "You want to talk about family, Elaine?" she said to Mom. "Let's talk about the adoption papers you hid. The ones that say Ava was never legally theirs. The ones that say your husband committed fraud to get a donor child." Mom's face went white. "It's true," Claire said. She dropped the adoption file on the coffee table. "He bought a baby, paid Lena Torres, and never paid the rest. The adoption was never finalized. You raised her, but you never owned her. And you sure as hell don't own her son." Madison flipped through the papers. Her hands started shaking. "This can't be real. Dad loved her. He called her his strong girl. He called her his donor," Claire said. "Don't confuse the two." James stood up. "This is insane. We're leaving. You'll hear from our lawyer." "You'll hear from mine first," I said. "Custody is already reversed. Fraud charges are being filed. And Dr. Harlan reported the attempted medical procedure on a minor. You're not taking him anywhere." Ever again, Mom broke then. Really broke. She put her face in her hands and sobbed. Not pretty tears. The kind that come from a place that's been dry too long. "I'm sorry, Ava," she choked out. "I'm so sorry. He made me promise. He said if I didn't keep you close, you'd leave and he'd die alone. I was scared. I didn't know how to stop it." "You could have told me the truth," I said. "Once. In 34 years. She looked up at me, eyes red. "Would you have stayed if I did?" "No," I said. And for the first time, I didn't feel guilty saying it. I would have left. And I should have. Madison stood too. She didn't look at me. She looked at the closed bedroom door where Noah slept. "He calls me Aunt Maddie now," she said softly. "I thought if I gave him everything, he'd love me like he loves you. But he asks for you in his sleep." She walked to the door without another word. James followed. Mom was last. She stopped in front of me. "I don't expect forgiveness," she said. "I just need you to know I did love you." In my broken way. "I'm sorry it wasn't enough." She left. The door clicked shut. I stood in my small apartment with silence for the first time in weeks. No accusations. No manipulation. No one calling me emotional or strong or Ms. Ava. Just me. And my son breathing in the next room. I picked up Dad's letter from the table. Didn't open it yet. Instead, I walked to Noah's room and knelt by his bed. He opened one eye. "Mommy, are they gone?" "They're gone, baby," I said. "It's just us now." He smiled and went back to sleep. I sat there until the sun went down. Then I opened the letter. I opened the envelope with hands that didn't shake. Not anymore. Inside was one page. Dad's handwriting. Messy the way it got when his chemo made his fingers numb. Dated 3 days before he died. "Ava, if you're reading this, Elaine gave you the box. Or Claire stole it. Either way, you know the truth now. And I'm sorry you had to find out like this. Yes, I was sick when we adopted you. Yes, I picked you because your cells matched mine. I was scared. 34 years old with a wife I loved and a baby on the way. The doctor said I might not see Madison grow up. So I did a terrible thing. I chose survival over honesty. But here's what your mother won't tell you. And Claire doesn't know. The first night you came home, you were 3 days old and screaming. Madison was too, jealous, pulling your blanket off. I held you and you stopped crying. You grabbed my finger with your whole hand. And I forgot why I picked you. You weren't a match. You were my daughter. I never went through with the transplant. I told Elaine I did. I lied to her for 20 years because I was ashamed. I told her the chemo worked. It didn't. I just learned to live with it. I chose you over me, Ava, every single day. When Madison had Noah and the doctors said he might inherit my condition, I saw history repeating. And I couldn't let them do to you what I almost did. So I told Elaine, if anything happens to me, she's the match. Keep her close. I meant keep her close to her son. Keep her close to the truth. Not close for marrow. Close for love. I failed you, baby girl. I let them call you strong so you wouldn't break. I let them call you emotional so you'd doubt yourself. I thought I was protecting you. I was wrong. You were never my spare part. You were my miracle. Madison was my second. And Noah is my third. If you're holding him right now, tell him his grandpa was scared but proud. Tell him I'd give my last breath so he never feels chosen for his cells instead of his heart. I'm sorry I didn't say this while I was alive. Fear makes cowards of us. Love makes us late. But it's not too late for you. Leave them, Ava. Be the mother I was too scared to be. All my love. Dad, I read it 4 times. The paper went soft at the edges from my tears. He didn't use me. He chose me. Then he spent 20 years too afraid to tell me why. Noah stirred in his sleep and mumbled, "Mommy, roar." I leaned down and roared soft in his ear, just like I always did. He smiled without waking. The doorbell rang at 7 p.m. Madison alone this time. No mom, no James, no suit. She was wearing sweatpants and holding a shoebox. "I'm not here to fight," she said before I could speak. "I'm here to give you this." She set the box on my table. Inside were photos, dozens, me and Noah at the park. Me teaching him to blow bubbles. Me asleep on the couch with him on my chest. "I took them," she said, "during the supervised visits, because I knew you'd want them. Because he talks about you every night. Mommy makes pancakes shaped like stars. Mommy knows all the dinosaur names." Her voice cracked. I thought if I gave him a better life, it would count for something. But he doesn't want a better life. Ava, he wants you. She looked at the closed bedroom door. "James is sick, real sick. But that's not your problem. And it's not Noah's, we were wrong. All of us, what do you want?" I asked. "Forgiveness I don't deserve," she said. "And permission to still be his aunt. If you'll let me, not his mom, just Aunt Maddie, the one who brings him dinosaur books and lets him be loud." Studied her face. No manipulation this time. Just grief. And something like hope. I thought of Dad's letter. "Love makes us late, one rule," I said. "You never correct him when he calls me mommy. You never sign anything for him. And you never lie to me again." She nodded fast. Tears falling. "I swear. On Dad's grave, I didn't hug her, not yet. But I didn't close the door on her either." After she left, I sat on the floor next to Noah's bed. I took his hand and pressed it to my cheek. For 34 years, I'd been waiting for someone to choose me for me. Not for my blood. Not for my strength. Not because I was useful. Tonight, a dead man's letter chose me. A 5-year-old sleepy roar chose me. And for the first time, I chose myself. I wasn't the daughter they bought. I wasn't the mother they tried to erase. I was Ava, Noah's mom. And that was enough. Outside, a car drove away. Madison, probably, going back to an empty house. Inside, my son breathed easy. The war was over. But the healing was just starting. 6 months later. My apartment doesn't look like Madison's house. No white fence. No matching couches. It has glow-in-the-dark stars on Noah's. Ceiling that he stuck up. Himself. Crooked, perfect. Pancake mix on the counter. Dinosaur books stacked by the couch. A drawing on the fridge, me with wild hair. Labeled Mommy Roar Noah's. Fever never came. Back, Dr. Harlan said it was just a bad virus. He's 4.5 now. Loud. Curious. He asks why. 47 times before breakfast. I'm not strong anymore. I'm just me. Tired some days. Laughing others. Filing papers for fraud charges that are still winding through court. Mom took a plea deal. Community service. Therapy. She sends letters I don't answer yet. Maybe someday. Madison comes every Sunday. She brings dinosaur books and leaves her navy suits at home. She sits on the floor and lets Noah correct her when she gets a T-Rex fact wrong. He calls her Aunt Maddie. She doesn't flinch when he calls me Mommy. Last week she said, "He's got your laugh." "Yeah," I said. "He does." That was the first time it didn't hurt to hear her say it. Aunt Claire moved back to town. She taught Noah how to roar properly. Chest out, hands like claws. He scares the mailman now. She also taught me how to stop apologizing for taking up space. I still have Dad's letter. It's folded in Noah's baby book. Not because I'm stuck in the past. Because I'm not afraid of it anymore. He didn't pick me to save himself. He failed me by being afraid. But he loved me by staying. That's enough. Tonight, Noah and I are on the floor, building a block hospital. He's the doctor. I'm the patient. "You have dinosaur fever," he says seriously, pressing a block to my forehead. "Do I need medicine?" I ask. "No," he says. "You just need hugs." That's what Mommy gives. He throws his arms around my neck. I smell strawberry shampoo and crayons. I close my eyes and breathe him in. For 34 years, I waited for someone to tell me I was chosen for love, not for use. I had to choose myself first. The stars on the ceiling start to glow as the room gets dark. Noah points up. "Look, Mommy, we made our own sky." "We did," I say. "And nobody can take it from us." He yawns against my chest. "Mommy, will you always come back?" "Always," I whisper into his hair. "I'm not leaving. Not ever again." Outside, there's no black SUV, no court papers, no one watching the curtains. Just us, a mother and her son. Not a match. Not a donor. Not a secret, just home. Thank you for staying through Ava's story. Sometimes the people who call you strong are the ones who never let you be soft. But you get to decide who you are now. Want me to write another story like this?